Hi, yogis. Welcome to class. So today we are going to do a post-walk stretch. I don't know about you, but sometimes if I go for a really long hike or just after the winter when I'm getting out walking more, I notice tightness in my back and maybe my quads, my hip flexors start to get sore. Maybe some of you feel it in the back of your legs. And because we don't stretch. So today we are going to do a little bit of stretching and a little myofascial release for the feet. So have either a myofascial ball, which is literally just like the same size as like a racquetball. You could use a tennis ball, or even sometimes, because we're going to use this for the feet, sometimes for the feet you can use a golf ball, although a golf ball's a little hard. Or if you're in my house, you have 983 million dog balls. Not that I'm allowed to use those. All right, my friends. So this is going to be at the end. So you can put that off to the side. To get started now in child's pose. So find your way into your child's pose, except for this one, we're going to curl our feet under. So just curl your toes under. You might have to reach back and grab onto those little piggies and curl them under. Walk your hands out a little bit further in front of you and then start to sink back into this child's pose. So you're going to stay pretty high on the legs here. Take a big breath in and then just let go of everything. Maybe feel the stretching in the bottom of the feet. You get to tell how much pressure you put there. So if it's too much, you can always back off a little. Now, as you inhale, I want you to come forward, bend the elbows and come into a cow pose. So elbows are slightly bent, inside of the elbows are pointing forward, drop the belly, lift the heart and the head, tailbone lifts. And then as you exhale, you're going to round, tuck the tailbone and push back. So now we have that pressure in the feet again. Let's go ahead and inhale back forward through that cow pose. And exhale into that child's pose modification. Inhale, coming forward. And then exhale. This is going to be our last one here. Inhale into your cow pose. And then just go ahead and release the tops of the feet. You can tap them out if that feels good, or just let them rest down. And then let's push back. Find your way into that child's pose. Take a moment here. Kind of settle in, feel how it feels. Notice if there's anything showing up in your body today. If you've gone for a walk already and this is how you're wrapping it up, maybe you have some soreness. Maybe you're feeling a little stiff or possibly even a little impatient. One more breath. All right, we're going to roll forward. Find your way into that tabletop. Extend your right leg out behind you. Be careful not to hike up your hips here. Keep them nice and steady. Push the right foot behind you. And then just round through your back as you pull that knee in. Place that right foot in between the hands. And then just come on up onto that back knee. So you're on your left knee here. You can walk the right foot out a little bit further than you normally would. Hands go on your sacrum, your lower back, and then just tilt your tailbone down a little bit. So that might have really gotten into that front of that thigh there. And then just start to lean forward. Now, I didn't mention it, but if this is a little too much on your knee, or if you have a really hard surface, you might put a blanket underneath your knee. Nice. Now, we're going to take our right hand and reach it around behind, maybe wrapping it around onto that left leg. And then just take your left hand up, take a nice big inhale, sink a little bit further. And then as you exhale, bring the left hand to that knee and look over the back shoulder. So be careful not to move that right hip at all. We're going to bring that left hand down to the mat. Right arm is going to reach up, and then go ahead and cactus the arms. Start to open up through that right shoulder. Now, keeping the thumb towards the floor here, you're going to exhale. You're going to straighten the right leg and just bring that right hand kind of down in front of that left hand. We're going to flow through those two shapes. So inhale back into the twist. Lower the hips. Your knee can come in front of the toes. Exhale, kind of karate chopping the fingers down here. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Nice. Inhale. Beautiful. Both hands come down. We're just going to turn towards the front of the mat here. Put your right foot on the mat and then sink back into the hips. So you might feel it on the inside of the thighs there. You might want to walk your hands towards the right foot and then sit back. So you're pushing the hips back. Nice stretch here. Go ahead and walk the hands all the way over to the left. Left hand comes to the mat right underneath your shoulder. Open up into a modified side plank here. Maybe look up, maybe starting to float that back leg if it feels good, or you can just keep it down and really reach and get a nice big stretch here. All right, we're gonna come on up. You're gonna turn that right foot so that you're in kind of a modified warrior two. Left arm comes up and over. Let's try that again. So we're just gonna fold down, turn the toes out, come on down. Maybe you rest your forehead on your hands, push back into the hips. Really rooting down through that right foot. Walk over, left hand down, side plank. Modified warrior B. This time we're going right back into that side plank. Now from here, you might make it even into a modified wild thing by sliding that bottom leg forward and then leaning back, opening the heart. And then we're just going to sit down. Inhale, reach both hands up and then fold over to the right toes for a nice fallen tree stretch. Go ahead and take about 5 breaths here. You don't have to reach the feet if it doesn't work for you. Go ahead and walk the hands all the way back up, coming back into that side plank. And then both hands on the mat. Now you're facing the back of your mat, right leg lifts. You can go ahead and bend that knee if that feels good to you. And then maybe reaching back with the left hand, grabbing on, opening up, getting a nice front of the leg stretch here. And then go ahead, both feet, both knees down, sit back into your child's pose and just notice the difference from one side to the other here. Come on up. Left foot reaches out behind you. Square off those hips, push the mat away, and then step the left foot in between the hands. Walk it a little bit forward and come on up onto that right leg there. Hands to your lower back, tuck the tailbone down and sink forward into the hips here. Really root down through that front foot. You'll feel it maybe from the hip point all the way down to the top of the knee. You're going to bring that left hand around, right arm reaches up, And then go ahead and put it on the outside of the left leg. Maybe starting to reach this left hand wherever it feels good to get a nice deep stretch. Right hand's going to come to the floor. Left arm is going to open up into that nice cactus arm here. Remember the karate chop here. Straighten the left leg. Bring the fingers down. I feel it much more on this side than the other. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, reach. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, reach. You can linger here if that feels better than the sliding, the flowing. And reach. Last one. Now on this one, we're going to start to travel our way back across the front. So you're just going to spin that right foot back, place the left heel down, sit back, maybe reach the arms forward. So you might, in this one, I feel it a lot on the outside hip. Maybe reach the hands over a little bit towards the left. See what works for you. Go ahead and walk the right hand underneath the shoulder. Take this nice side lean here. Maybe you float. Go ahead and put that foot down, finding our way to our warrior B, warrior 2. Big stretch. Straighten the leg, reach down, find that nice big stretch. Hips reach back. You can do anything we want with your arms. I think I kind of like them out in front. Find your way into that Ardha Vashi here. Half side plank. Warrior B. Side plank. With that knee down. Feeling really ambitious, you could pick that knee up. Then we're just going to slide that knee a little bit forward so that we can open the hip. And then sit down into our fallen tree. Lift the arms up and then fold. Just go ahead and settle in here. Right hand down, inhale into that modified side plank, and then both hands come to the mat, left knee lifts, maybe bending that left knee, reaching around with the right foot. If you can't reach, don't worry about it. Not the end of the world, it's just an extra stretch. Both hands come down to the mat, both knees. We're going to curl the toes under here, sit back into your child's pose, and then start to press the knees off the mat and find your way into your first down dog of the day, pedaling out your feet, maybe walking your feet a little wider than hips, whatever feels good here. Feeling through the bottoms of the feet, the backs of the legs. Maybe pushing the heels down towards the mat and then starting to lift up onto the toes. Push the heels down. Stretch up the back of the legs. Can you feel it from just underneath the heels, all the way up the ankles, the Achilles tendon, up through the calves? Tiny bend in the knees to protect your knees, and then all the way up through the hamstrings, right into those sit bones. take a look towards the hands and start to just walk to about the middle of your mat. We're going to find a nice forward fold here. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the head be heavy. If you go for a walk and you just don't have it in you to stretch, the most beneficial stretch that you can do in the least amount of time with the biggest payout is a forward fold. Be careful to protect your knees and your back by bending your knees, draping your ribs right over the thighs. So if you have to bend your knees a lot to make that happen, go ahead and do that. And then start to think about lifting the tailbone up as much as you're dropping the head down. Now we're going to put a lot of bounce in the knees. Grab your ball as you come up, and then we're just going to slowly push down through the heels as we start to roll all the way up till you get to the top. All right, let's work on those feet. So putting the ball on the mat. I realize now that you probably can't really see that ball because of the color of it, but we're just going to put our ball underneath our right foot, right behind the toes there, and then just roll towards the heel. And keep rolling. You have to pick up your foot, come back to the heel, kind of get the hang of it. You can hold on to something too. Just applying a little bit of pressure, and then get that ball kind of in the middle and just scribble around on the feet. No pattern, just kind of squiggling there, in and out, in and out. Get into the arch, the sides, the outside. And then if your ball is the right size for your foot, you can put your heel on the mat, the ball underneath, and just let the toes kind of curl over the top of the ball, and then just windshield wiper from one side to the next. Nice. Let's try that whole thing on the other side. So we start the ball underneath your toes, and then just straight line back to the heels. Do that about 3 or 4 times. Nice. And then just scribbling around, getting into all the nooks and crannies. If you find a spot that feels really good, linger there. Just hang out, scribble around. You don't need to have pain, just a little sensation here. Just feel it a little bit. And put that heel on the mat. The ball is underneath the ball of your feet, just behind that kind of mound there, right before it gets into the arch. And just roll that ball from side to side. Let your toes fall down over the ball. Just wrap a little side to side. And then let that ball go. Bring both feet underneath you. And we're going to end standing here today. So go ahead, and if it feels comfortable to you, close your eyes. Otherwise, look at an area that's kind of out in front of you on the floor so that you have some balance, but you can focus on what you're feeling. If you can close your eyes, I want you to just imagine that you're kind of doing a little body scan on the bottom of the feet. Notice how they feel. Draw your attention into your legs as you start to scan up through the calves, the backs of the legs. When you get to your hips, to your pelvic bowl, I want you to just tuck your tailbone down ever so slightly and pull your lower belly up towards your belly button without sucking everything in. I just gently tuck the pelvis into a neutral position here. Let your hands fall back down, and then think about creating some length from the outsides of your hips all the way up to your armpits. Roll your shoulders back and down. Open the hands out by your side. Relax your shoulders. And then go ahead and open your eyes. And just notice how you feel. Kind of stretchy, a little Gumby after that walk, and now a nice stretch. ready to go about the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me on the mat today, you guys, and I will see you again for another session really soon. Namaste. You guys, if you find these sessions to be really helpful, or if there's something that you want to see more of, please let me know. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, hit the little bell so that you know when new lessons are coming out, new videos are out, so that you never miss one. So like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks so much. I will see you next time.